Good evening and welcome. Tonight's story takes you to a room at the back of the inn, a small room over the river landing, where the water slides past the wooden piles just below your window and a little boat lies moored against the staging in the dark. There is nothing here you need to do. If you drift off before the end, that is exactly right. The river will keep sliding by whether you are listening or not, and I will go on speaking softly into the dark, and the lamp will go on rippling its light across your ceiling, and all of it will hold you just the same. Settle in now. Let the bed take your weight. Let your shoulders come down from wherever they have been holding themselves all day. There is time. There is nothing but time, and the slow lap of the water below. Before the story begins, let yourself settle. There is nothing you need to do with your body except let it be heavy. The bed is holding you. You do not need to help. Take a slow breath in, through your nose, gentle and unhurried. Hold it for a moment, soft at the top, and let it go, slowly, all the way out, a little longer than the breath that came in. Again. Breathe in, easy and low, the way you breathe when no one is watching, and out long and slow, letting your shoulders sink as the breath leaves. One more. In, gently, and out, slowly, and as the breath goes, let your jaw soften, let your hands uncurl, let the weight of the day drain down through the mattress and away. Now let your breathing find its own pace. You do not need to guide it anymore. It knows what to do. It has always known. Every breath from here is one step further into rest. The room is at the very back of the inn, where the building leans out a little over the river. You have it to yourself tonight. It is a small room, low under its beams, and most of it is taken up by the bed you are lying in, which is old and broad and dressed in heavy blankets that smell faintly of the cedar press they were folded in. The headboard behind you is dark wood, smoothed by the hands of years, and the bolster beneath your pillow is deep and soft, and gives slowly under the weight of your head, settling around you a little more each time you breathe out. There is a single window, and it looks out over nothing but the water. No road, no yard, only the dark river, and the dark far bank, and the wooden landing just below the sill, where the inn's old rowing boat is tied up for the night. The window glass is old, a little wavering and uneven, the way old glass is, so that the few small lights along the far bank seem to swim and lengthen and gather themselves again. Soft smudges of gold laid out on the black water, going nowhere, doing nothing, simply there. A lamp burns low on the sill, turned down to the smallest warm thread of flame. You did not turn it down. The innkeeper did, before leaving you, so that you would not lie in the full dark, but in this soft, amber half-light that just reaches the corners of the room and goes no further. It is the kind of light that does not show you things so much as suggests them. The shapes of the room rounded and softened, every hard edge gone gentle, every corner filled with a warm and easy shadow that you need not look into. The floorboards under the rugs are old, scrubbed pale by years of feet, and they are warm still from the day. The walls are thick, and they lean a little, the way the whole inn leans toward the river, as if the building has spent 200 years quietly settling toward the water and means to go on settling for a good while yet. Nothing here is square, nothing here is new, Everything has been worn soft and easy by long use, and it holds you the way a thing holds you when it has held many people before, with no fuss, with no question, with the plain old kindness of a place that has done this 1,000 times. Against the far wall, where the lamp's light barely reaches, there is a washstand of dark wood, and on it a plain white jug standing in a wide, shallow basin. The jug is filled and waiting, though you will not need it tonight, and the cool of the water in it gives the corner of the room a faint, clean smell, like stone after rain. A folded cloth hangs over the lip of the basin, square and patient, and the whole little arrangement sits there in the half-dark, asking nothing, simply keeping you company, the way honest old things do. By the foot of the bed stands a single wooden chair, and over its back your day is laid aside, folded soft. The clothes you wore set down and done with for the night. On the wall above it, there are 3 wooden pegs, worn smooth and shining a little, where countless travelers have hung their coats and hats and let the day's weather drip and dry while they slept. 2 of the pegs are bare. The room has held many people. It holds you now just as easily, and it will hold whoever comes after. And none of that is your concern tonight. Tonight the room is only yours, and it has turned all its quiet attention toward the one task of letting you rest. On the wall beside the window there hangs a small framed picture, old and faded. The kind of plain little print that has hung in rooms like this for as long as there have been rooms like this. In the low light you cannot quite make it out, and you do not try. It is a boat, perhaps, or a bridge, or a stretch of water under a soft sky, some quiet scene that someone chose long ago because it was easy to look at and easy to forget, and it has gone on hanging there ever since, gathering the lamplight gently on its glass and asking nothing of anyone who sleeps below it. There is a low door in the corner, latched for the night, its iron latch worn to a dull shine, and the threshold beneath it dished and hollowed in the middle from the long passage of feet. The door fits its frame the way old doors do, not quite squarely, and the warm air of the inn rests against it on one side, and the cool air of the river rests against it on the other, and the 2 air keep their places, and the door keeps the night out, and you are on the soft, warm inside of all of it, sheltered and shut in and entirely at peace. Above the washstand there is a narrow shelf, and on it a few small things sit in the half-dark, left there by hands long gone. A candle stub in a tin holder, its wick black and bent, burned down by some other traveler on some other night, and never lit again. A small worn book with a soft cloth cover, its pages swollen a little from the river air, set down face down and open, as if someone meant to come back to it and then drifted off instead. The way you are drifting off now, a smooth gray pebble, river-rounded, that someone carried up from the bank and set on the shelf, for no reason anyone could name. None of it asks anything of you. It is only the quiet company of small-kept things, sitting in the dark above the water, keeping you company while you sink. Listen, and you can hear the river. It is the steadiest sound in the world. The water moves past the wooden piles that hold the landing up, and as it moves it makes a low, even slipping sound, a long, soft hush that never stops and never changes. It is not the sound of waves breaking. It is gentler than that. It is only water going on its way, sliding past the timber, sliding on into the dark, unhurried, unending. Beneath that there is another sound, smaller and slower. The moored boat. The current nudges it, and it leans, and its hull touches the staging with a soft wooden knock, and then it drifts back, and a moment later it knocks again. A little knock, a little quiet, a little knock. It is the most patient sound, the boat resting against its mooring, rocked by the river and rocking back, the rope creaking once as it takes the strain and then going still. You let your eyes close, and you find that you can follow it all without looking. The hush of the water below the floor, the slow knock of the boat, the faint creak of the rope, the whole quiet machinery of the river at night, working away beneath you while you do nothing at all. It is strange and lovely to lie above moving water. You can feel it almost more than hear it, a faint cool sense of motion just below the boards, the whole room afloat over the current like the cabin of some old still ship that will never put out and never come in. The piles beneath the landing are sunk deep into the riverbed, mossed and dark, and the water slides around them and on. And the room stays exactly where it has always stayed, steady above the moving river, and you lie steady in the steady room. The piles have been there a long time. You can picture them without trying. The great dark posts driven down through the mud into the firm ground below, furred all over with green weed that streams out gently in the current and lies back again, swaying the way underwater things sway, slow and weightless and at peace. The water parts around each post with the smallest of sounds and joins again on the far side and goes on, and the posts do not mind, and the river does not mind. And there is nothing in any of it that could ever ask the smallest thing of you. When you open your eyes again, the first thing you see is the ceiling. The lamp on the sill is low, but the river takes its small light and lifts it. Reflected off the moving water just outside, the light is thrown up onto the dark old plaster of the ceiling, and there it ripples. Soft bands of pale gold shift and fold across the beams overhead, slow as breathing, never quite still. The water moves, and so the light moves, gently, endlessly, the whole ceiling washed with the slow dapple of the river. You lie and you watch it. There is nothing in it to follow. No shape, no picture. Only the loose ripple of light sliding across the plaster, brightening here, dimming there, drawn out and gathered up again as the current passes below. It is the river itself, written in light on the ceiling above your bed. It asks nothing of you. You do not have to make sense of it. You only watch the light move, the way you might watch a fire or rain on a window, until the watching itself begins to loosen something behind your eyes. The bands of gold are wide and slow when the river runs smooth, and they narrow and quicken just a little, just for a moment, when a wider ripple passes below, and then they spread and slow again. There is a pattern to it that is not a pattern, a rhythm to it that is not a rhythm, a thing that repeats without ever repeating, and the longer you watch, the less you can tell where one fold of light ends and the next begins. They run together over the dark plaster, gold flowing into gold, until it is not light moving at all, but only warmth. Only a soft golden warmth shifting overhead, and your eyes follow it without following anything, and your thoughts go with it, loosening, spreading, sliding gently off toward the edges of the dark. There is one beam that crosses the ceiling lower than the rest. An old dark timber with a deep knot in it shaped a little like a closed eye. And the rippling light gathers there and slides away and gathers there again, so that the knot seems to wake and dim and rest, wake and dim and rest, in no rush, keeping its own slow time with the water. You do not have to watch it, but it is a comfortable thing to rest your eyes on. That old closed eye in the old dark wood, half lit and half in shadow, doing nothing, going nowhere, content to be a knot in a beam over a bed by a river. Now and then a ripple runs a little wider than the rest, where some small thing has stirred the river, a fish turning far down, or a breath of wind crossing the surface, and a brighter fold of gold swims slowly across the ceiling and is gone. You do not look for the next one. You do not need to. They come and go on their own, slow and unhurried, the river writing and unwriting its quiet light above you all night long. And all you have to do is lie here beneath it and let your eyes go soft. Outside the night is mild. The window is open just a hand's width at the bottom, and through the gap comes the smell of the river. It is a clean, cool green smell, the smell of water and wet wood and the reeds along the far bank. Under it, very faint, is the warm thread you have come to know from the rest of the inn, the wood smoke that hangs about the old timbers, the lamp oil, the worn wax of the floorboards. The two smells meet at your open window, the cool river and the warm house, and you lie at the seam between them, held by both. There is the smell of the wet wood of the landing, too. The old soaked planks of the staging that never quite dry. A deep brown smell, soft and faintly sweet. The smell of timber that has stood in moving water for longer than anyone remembers and has made its peace with it. And there is the smell of the rope, tarred and salted long ago, a smell that belongs to harbors and quiet quaysides and slow, safe arrivals. All of it drifts up to your window on the cool air and mingles there and settles. And you breathe it in slowly and breathe it out slower still. The air that comes in is soft against your face. It moves the edge of the curtain, just barely, so that the rippled light on the ceiling wavers a little wider for a moment and then settles. Nothing here moves fast. The curtain breathes. The light breathes. The river breathes past the piles below. You draw the blankets up a little, and the bed is warm, and the night is cool, and that small difference is one of the kindest feelings there is. Beneath you, the rest of the inn has gone quiet for the night. The common room is empty now, its long fire banked down to a soft red glow under the ash, its chairs pushed back, and its tables wiped, and its lamps put out. The other rooms along the passage are dark, their doors closed, their travelers settled. The whole old house has folded itself down around you, room by room, light by light, until only your small lamp is left burning low at the back over the water. The inn keeps its warmth in its thick walls all night, the way a stone keeps the heat of the sun, and that warmth rises gently through the floors and gathers about you here at the top of the house over the river, and you lie in the warm heart of it, the last small light awake, sinking down. If you let your feet move the smallest amount beneath the blankets you can feel, even now, the soft worn rug that lies beside the bed, the rag rug someone braided long ago out of old cloth, faded to gentle browns and blues, soft underfoot as moss. It is the first thing your feet would find in the morning, and the last thing they touch tonight, and there is something kind in knowing it is there in the dark, waiting, patient, soft, a small soft place laid down on the warm old boards for no other reason than to be kind to a tired traveler's feet. Far off on the water, somewhere out in the dark, a morin calls once, a small soft note, and then nothing. A reed bends and lets go along the bank. The river takes these little sounds and folds them into its long hush and carries them away, and the night settles back, deeper than before. There is no traffic here, no voices, no bells, only the water, and the boat, and the small wild sounds of the bank that come and go and trouble nothing. Somewhere along the far bank a heron stands in the shallows, the way herons stand at night, perfectly still on one gray leg, waiting for nothing in particular, in no rush at all, more patient than the water itself. You cannot see it. You only know the kind of stillness it keeps, and it is a good stillness to share. The stillness of a thing that has folded itself up small and quiet against the dark, and is content to wait out the whole long night without moving, without minding, without needing the night to be anything other than what it is. Above the far bank in the top of the window, there is a thin slice of open sky, and a few faint stars are out in it tonight, dim and far and steady. They do not twinkle so much as rest there, small and quiet, in the deep soft black above the water. You do not count them, you do not name them, You only let your eye drift up to them now and again, then find them where you left them, holding their places without effort the way the iron rings hold the boat, content to hang there in the dark over the sleeping river for as long as the night should last. And below them the water carries their small reflections, broken and gathered and broken again on the slow current, a little loose scatter of light riding down the river and never arriving anywhere, never needing to. Below the floor, the water keeps sliding by. You think dimly of the boat down there in the dark. You saw it earlier, before the light went, a plain old rowing boat with a worn wooden seat and 2 oars shipped along its sides, tied fore and aft to iron rings set in the landing. It is doing nothing now. It is simply afloat, riding the river, lifting and falling the smallest amount as the current breathes beneath it. Now and then it leans in and touches the staging, that soft knock, and leans away. The oars lie quiet along the inside of the hull, their blades worn pale and smooth, resting in the dark where you laid your eyes on them earlier, going nowhere. They will not be lifted tonight. The little pool of river water in the bottom of the boat lies flat and dark and barely stirs, sliding the smallest amount from one end to the other as the hull tips and settles, the gentlest rocking, the kind of rocking that asks for nothing back. The seat where you would sit to row is worn pale and smooth in the middle, dished by the weight of 100 quiet crossings, and tonight no one sits there and the seat waits, dry and bare and patient, the way the whole boat waits, content to ride the dark water and be tied to the warm, safe shore. Now and then, from somewhere down on the landing, there comes the small sound of a single drop of water, falling from the lifted edge of the staging or the lip of the boat back into the river. One soft round note, and then a long quiet, and then perhaps another. It is the smallest sound in the world, smaller even than the knock of the boat, a single drop returning to the water it came from, and you do not wait for the next one, and you do not mind whether it comes. It is just the river giving a little of itself back to itself in the dark, drop by slow drop, with all the time there is. The staging the boat is tied to is a low platform of old planks, gray and soft and a little furred with moss along its edges, set out over the water on the same deep piles that hold the room above. By day the innkeeper steps down onto it to draw water or to see a boat away, but by night it lies bare and quiet, beaded with river damp, and the water laps up between its planks with the faintest of sounds and slips back, laps up and slips back, washing the underside of the wood with a touch as light as breath. You would never hear it if you listened for anything else. But it is there, just below you, the patient small kiss of the river against the boards all night long, asking nothing, keeping the dark soft. There is something deeply easeful in a boat that is going nowhere. It is not waiting to be rowed. It is not straining at its rope to be off downriver. It rests where it is tied, rocked and held, asking for nothing, and the night rocks it, and the rope holds it, and that is all it needs. You let yourself be like the boat, tied softly to the night, going nowhere, rocked by the slow water and held by the warm dark, lifting and falling the smallest amount with each slow breath. There is nowhere you need to be carried. You are already moored. You are already home. And the rope that holds the boat is a good old rope, soft with use, looped twice round its iron ring and knotted by hands that have tied it 1,000 evenings. It does not pull, it does not bind, it only stays, taking up the slow lean of the current and easing it, giving a little and holding a little, so that the boat can rock without drifting and rest without being lost. That is all a mooring is, a soft place to be held while the water moves. And you have one too, tonight. Here in this bed, in this leaning room over this quiet river, you are tied as gently as the boat, and the night will not let you drift. The iron rings are old and dark, sunk into the timber of the landing and worn bright on their undersides where the ropes have run across them year upon year. They were set there long before tonight by someone whose name no one keeps, hammered down into the good wood so that small boats could be made fast and left in safety while the river went by. They have held the boat through 1,000 nights and will hold it through 1,000 more, and they hold it now, without effort, without thought, the plain, reliable iron simply doing the one quiet thing it was put there to do. Across the water, on the far bank, there is another landing, smaller and darker, where in the daytime an old ferry crosses back and forth on a slack rope strung from shore to shore. It is moored now too, drawn up on the far side and made fast for the night, and the long rope dips down and touches the surface of the river in the middle of its span and lifts again, sagging and rising the smallest amount as the current presses against it. You cannot see the rope in the dark, but you know it is there, slung quietly across the water, holding both banks together while everything sleeps. Nothing crosses tonight. The ferry rests on its side, the river rests beneath it, and the rope holds the dark to the dark and lets it all be still. The river runs on. It has run past this landing for a long time, longer than the inn, longer than the wooden piles, longer than anyone who has ever slept in this room. It ran past in the dark 100 years ago, and it will run past in the dark 100 years from now. And tonight it runs past below your window with the same low, even hush it has always made. There is comfort in that. The river does not need you to keep it going. It will slide on past the piles all night while you sleep, the way it slid past them last night, when you were somewhere else and did not hear it. You did not have to ask it to be soothing. It simply is. It was being soothing in the dark before you arrived. Hour upon hour of soft, slipping water with no one to listen, and it will go on being soothing long after your eyes have closed for the last time tonight. So you can let go of listening if you like. The river does not need your attention. It will carry on perfectly well without it. You can let the sound become just a feeling, a low, steady ease at the bottom of the dark, and let your mind go loose above it, the way the light goes loose across the ceiling. The surface of the river out there is black and smooth and faintly moving, a great dark sheet of water sliding by in the night, and it holds the few small lights of the far bank and the dim stars and the soft glow of your own low lamp, all of them broken into long soft ribbons that lengthen and gather and slide away downstream and are endlessly replaced. Nothing on that surface stays. Nothing on it is lost either. The light comes apart and comes together and comes apart again, on, with no one watching but you, and you watching less and less, your eyes drifting closed over the dark moving water and the soft broken light upon it. Somewhere upstream the river is wider, and it slows there, and the moon lies flat upon it. Somewhere downstream it narrows again and gathers pace past the old mill, and runs on under bridges, and out at last to the sea you will never see from here. All of that is happening tonight, all along its length, while you lie in this one small room above one small landing. But you do not have to follow it anywhere. You only have this one stretch of it, this one soft passage beneath your window, and that is plenty. That is more than plenty. One quiet length of moving water, sliding by, is enough to carry anyone down into sleep. You think for a moment of all the dark country the river is moving through right now. The sleeping fields and the bowed willows and the empty meadows lying under their mist, the wooden footbridges and the still backwaters where nothing moves, the reed beds folded down for the night. The water touches all of it as it passes and asks nothing of any of it, and slides on, the same water that is sliding past your piles this minute, only a little further along, only a little later, going gently down toward the sea in the dark. Later in the night, when you are well asleep and will not know it, a low mist will rise off the river, the way it does on mild nights a soft gray blanket settling out over the water from bank to bank. It will wrap the moored boat in the wooden piles and the far landing in a gentle blur, and it will soften the few small lights along the far shore until they are only a warmth in the grayness, and it will lie there over the river all the slow, dark hours, breathing up off the water without a sound. You will not have to watch it come. It will tend to itself, the way everything here tends to itself, and you will sleep on beneath the rippling light, while the mist gathers the whole quiet valley up into its soft gray arms and holds it close till morning. The lamp gutters the smallest amount, and the light on the ceiling dims and swells, and then the flame steadies again, and the gold comes back. You let your gaze rest there without resting on anything. Your eyelids are heavy now. They want to close, and there is no reason in the world to keep them open. Whatever the river does next, it will do without you watching, and it will do it just as gently. The lamp's reflection ripples overhead. The boat knocks, soft against the staging. The rope creaks once, low. The water slides past the piles below. These are the only 3 sounds in the world, and they take turns gently all night. The hush of the river, the knock of the boat, the creak of the rope, and then the hush again, longest of all underneath everything, the slow, even slipping of the water that never stops. You do not have to keep them apart. You can let them blur into one slow sound, one soft moving thing beneath the floor of the room, and let it carry you the way the river carries the moored boat, which is to say barely at all, only rocking, only lifting and falling the smallest amount in the dark. How many nights this room has done this? How many travelers have lain just here, in just this bed, and listened to just this water, and watched just this light move on just these beams, and let their eyes fall shut? The river has rocked all of them to sleep, one after another, year upon year, and asked nothing of any of them, and forgotten none of them, and remembered none of them, only gone on by. Tonight, it is your turn. The room knows how to do this. You have only to lie still and let it. The room knows how to do this. It has done it in winter, with the river running high and the rain on the dark glass, and the lamp the only warm thing for miles. It has done it in summer, with the window wide and the smell of cut hay coming over the water. It has done it through every quiet night between, and it does not tire of it, and it will not get it wrong. The room knows how to hold a tired traveler through the dark. You can hand yourself over to it now, the way you hand a small weight to a sure pair of hands and feel it taken, and let it go. Your breath has slowed without your asking it to. It has found the pace of the water. In, slow, like the river drawing past the piles. Out, slower, like the river sliding on. You did not arrange this. It happened on its own, the way it always happens here, the body falling in beside the river and keeping time. The blankets are heavy and warm over you. Your head is deep in the pillow. Somewhere far off in the inn, a door settles in its frame, and a stair gives a single soft creak as the old house cools, and then there is quiet again, and the river, always the river, going by. You can feel the weight of the blankets pressing you down, gently, evenly, the way the water presses against the piles and you let it. You feel where your shoulders rest, and where your back rests, and where your legs lie heavy and still, and everywhere the bed comes up to meet you and hold you and take the weight away. The cedar smell of the folded wool rises faintly around your face, warm and dry and old, and beneath it the cool green breath of the river comes and goes at the window, and you lie at the seam of the two, breathing slow, sinking by small soft degrees deeper into the bed, deeper into the dark, deeper into the long, low hush of the water that runs on below. You feel how little there is left for you to do. The lamp is lit, and it will burn down on its own. The window is open just enough, and the air comes and goes on its own. The boat is moored, and it rocks on its own. The river runs on its own, as it always has. Everything in this room and out beyond it is looked after, is held, is going gently on without needing the smallest thing from you. You can let your hands lie open on the blanket. You can let your jaw come unclenched. You can let the last of the day slide off you and down into the water and away. The light moves on the ceiling, gold and dim and gold again, slow folds of it, washing across the beams, drawn from the dark water just outside your window and laid gently overhead while you watch with eyes that are mostly closed now. The boat knocks softly. The water slides by. You are very warm and very heavy, and there's nowhere you have to go. The river is doing all the moving. You can be still. The river will move for both of you tonight, sliding past the piles, rocking the little boat, lifting the light up onto your ceiling, and you can lie quite still in the middle of all that gentle motion and let it happen around you. In, slow, out, slower, the water sliding by below. Down on the landing, the boat leans in and touches the wood. A small knock in the dark. Then it leans away, and the rope sighs, and the river carries on. There is nothing to wait for. There is nothing to finish. The night is not going anywhere. The room holds you, low under its old beams, with the lamp turned down to its smallest thread, and the light of the river loose on the ceiling and the water going by, and by and by. You let your shoulders settle one last small amount into the warm bed. The water slides past the piles. The boat knocks, soft and slow, and rests. The light ripples on the ceiling, gold and dim and gold. The river goes by below you in the dark. It is in no rush at all. It has all night, and so do you. Slow water, soft light, the small knock of the boat, and the quiet after it. The river goes by. The river goes by. The water sliding past the wooden piles. The light loose on the ceiling. The boat moored and rocking, going nowhere at all. The lamp burns low. The window breathes. The river goes by. Warm bed, cool air, slow water below. The boat knocks, soft, and rests. The light comes, gold, and goes and comes again. Nothing to do. Nowhere to go. Only the river going by. The mist is rising on the water now, soft and gray, and it will hold the valley till morning. The little stars rest in the top of the window. The boat rests on its rope. You rest in the warm bed. Everything is moored. Everything is held. The river does all the moving, and the river goes by. Slow water, soft light, the boat at rest. The hush below the floor, the gold loose on the beams, the small knock, and the quiet after it. The river goes by. The river goes by. Warm and heavy and held. Nothing to wait for, nothing to finish. Only the slow water going by in the dark. The boat rocks, the light ripples, the river goes by. The cedar warmth of the blankets, the cool green breath at the window, the soft gray mist out over the water. The little lamp burning low, the gold loose on the old dark beams, the single drop falling, somewhere, back into the river. You are moored to the night, and the night holds you, and the river goes by. Slow water, soft light, the boat at rest. The hush below the floor, the knock, and the quiet. The hush again, longest of all. The river goes by. The river goes by. Slow water, soft light. The boat at rest. Rest now. The river will keep going by. It will keep going by.